And now, an 8th special presentation.
This time on Art Beat Nation. We see what it takes to create an iconic gallery.
The museum experience is fundamentally about individuals encountering original works of art.
Take a trip through a terminal.
He did these remarkable murals that really began with prints of Arizona leaves.
See how a sculptor captures a life hanging in the balance.
For the arts here in Las Vegas, I think it's about the best it's ever been. People are going to get to know that we actually make things here in Nevada.
And meet an artist who transports viewers to a world of light and color.
Making art is a very self-indulgent activity.
It's all ahead on this edition of Art Beat Nation. Funding for Art Beat Nation is made possible by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you. The St. Louis Art Museum has built a new addition to its original building, designed by architect Cass Gilbert for the 1904 World's Fair. English architect David Chipperfield's challenge was to design a structure that would not compete with the art or Cass's original design. Museum director Brent Benjamin takes us on tour.
In this building, in the East Building, there are 21 galleries, and we have installed those for the opening with about 230 works of art. Nearly 25% of those works have not been on public view in over 20 years. In terms of providing additional space so that more of the collection can be on view, clearly that's a success. What is maybe less obvious is that most of those works were relocated from the original building, from the main building. In that building, over the last 2 years, 50 galleries have been reinstalled with over 1,500 works of art. In that case, 30% of those works have not been on public view in more than 20 years. So the impact this has had, both in terms of additional accommodation for the collection and in terms of the opportunities that the spaces they left behind provided for other aspects of the collection, are really extraordinary. So visitors are going to see things that they haven't seen on view in almost a generation, and many of them. We are obviously a museum that has comprehensive collections throughout history, including an important collection of art of the 20th and now 21st century. Critical, therefore, that this building be appropriate to our time and not be retardataire and backward-looking, but be modern, of our moment, and forward-looking. Within that, of course, comes a challenge, which is how do you build something that connects in a very cohesive way, in a very organic way, to the Cass Gilbert building? How do you build something that has a character of its own and yet sits comfortably side by side with the main building and doesn't compete with it? It's actually a pretty significant architectural challenge. This is an expansion of an existing facility. It's not an independent building that stands on its own. And in some ways, that's an easier project because you get to imagine it, from scratch. Here, there's something very strong, very powerful, very established, much loved to respond to. While this has an individual character, both internally and externally, it actually is organically connected to the main building that's been here, that we all know, that we all love. Lots of these 20th century galleries are loft-like spaces. Great big open kinds of warehouse spaces, very high ceilings, and the walls that provide places to hang paintings and against which to place sculptures tend to have a temporary character. They don't go all the way up to the ceiling, they go part way up and they stop. And we said, we really don't want that temporary character in these galleries. We want a series of rooms. We want rooms that are small, rooms that are medium, and rooms that are large. Very much the kind of experience you have in the main building. We want that variation because we have that variation in terms of not only size of works in the collection, but also in terms of the sort of groupings of things. A large group of these kinds of things, a smaller groups of these kinds of things. And we knew that we'd want to have the opportunity to vary the kinds of things we put on view. We also wanted corners. You know, rooms have corners, and we wanted to make sure that these walls came together in corners and that they went up to the ceiling so that they looked like that this had a sense of permanence and stability. We felt that was going to be important conceptually in terms of its relationship with the main building, and we thought it was going to be important philosophically as well. Art museums are a very specific kind of building type, and because one of our missions is to preserve the works of art that have come down to us through generations, there are very specific kinds of controls for temperature, for humidity, for light levels, and all those kinds of things, not to mention security requirements. There's a lot going on beneath the floors and inside the walls that you don't see. What you see is a building of very, very minimal vocabulary. And we knew that from the start. We were building galleries that are primarily for post-war American and German art, where we're very strong. And Chipperfield, the architect, said to us, you know, you're going to have white walls, yeah. We're going to have wood floors or concrete floors. These galleries, in that way, will look like any contemporary galleries in any art museum in any city in the world. And he said, you know, I think the ceiling is the place where you are able to give this a character that is unique to the St. Louis Art Museum, unique to St. Louis, and that is distinguishing for the institution. And that is what we got. As you know, we have this incredible poured-in-place concrete waffle grid, which is essentially 5 by 10 foot vaults that are 4 feet deep, that were poured on site over the course of an entire summer. And that gives us not only a great feeling of weight and of monumentality in these galleries, again, important because of the scale of Cass Gilbert sitting next door here, but also allowed us to bring in natural light. The museum experience is fundamentally about individuals encountering original works of art. That's why we exist, is to make that experience available and free to all, as you know, for over a century now. And so when thinking about designing new galleries for an existing collection, because this was really a facility about housing a collection that was always right up here on Art Hill all the time, just not on public view. We wanted a design that would actually complement the works of art, which is to say a building that was very quiet and a building that was confident enough to step back and not compete with the works of art on display, which is really why people come here.
To learn more, visit slam.org. If you're ever traveling through the airport in Phoenix, check out the Phoenix SkyTrain. The shuttle was recently transformed into an art exhibition with works from numerous artists. Take a look.
Half a dozen art installations debuted with the airport's new SkyTrain. City of Phoenix Public Art Program Director Ed Lebo is here to tell us about the installations. Good to have you here.
Delighted to be here.
What are we talking? We got 5 artists, 6 what is happening?
5 artists and artist teams and 6 installations at each of the new sites and stops along the SkyTrain.
And how long in development was this?
You know, Ann Coe, one of the artists, likes to say that her project manager was pregnant when they started, and now she has a 5-year-old. So it's since 2008.
And where exactly is this art displayed? Is it on the train, in the train, around the train?
It's the spaces leading up to the train. There are floors, huge terrazzo floors at the station platforms. If you get off on light rail to cross 44th Street, cross a bridge, that entire bridge is designed by an artist, working with a design team of architects and engineers and all the rest. East Economy Lot and then Terminal 4, you have 2 major projects there.
Well, let's take a look at some of these projects, and starting with this one with, is it Daniel Mayer?
Daniel Mayer.
Embedding letters on the floor. It's kind of like calligraphy here, huh?
It is. Well, Daniel Mayer is a bookmaker and a printmaker who teaches out at ASU, and so he uses a lot of fonts, as we like to call in the digital world. And in this case, he wanted to scatter the floor with a path that led you from one part of the train, the exit to the train, right over to the elevators and escalators. And the scroll that you have there is, you know, limitless is the open and timeless is the open, sort of to draw upon the book of travel.
Isn't that interesting? And Daniel Mayer also now did, I believe, a couple of glass murals as well. Where are these?
He sure did. When you come off of the SkyTrain platform at Terminal 4, you go down the escalators, and there are 2 bridges that connect the train station to the terminal. he did these remarkable murals that really began with prints of Arizona leaves on aluminum foil. And then he scaled these up and produced them in traditional stained glass technique for both of these bridges, and they're beautiful and large. And in fact, you can see these from the drop-off area down below at Terminal 4 on the south side.
It must be basically, those are leaf prints, aren't they?
Those are leaf prints, and very traditional, but in a contemporary setting unlike any other.
And I would imagine the scope and size kind of takes your breath away a little bit when you first see them.
115 feet long by about 9 feet high, so you feel like you're a bug crawling on the leaf.
Daniel Martin Diaz actually did a floor at the pedestrian bridge. What was this one all about?
Daniel Martin Diaz did a remarkable floor at the pedestrian bridge from 44th Street station over to the 44th Street light rail stop. This is a remarkable project. It's almost 500 feet long, 40 feet wide, and you can see from some of these pictures the kind of hand craftsmanship that went into this. These were produced right here in Phoenix by Advanced Terrazzo and some of their skilled craftsmen. Each floor took about 25 workers. And this is an ancient technique. Terrazzo is something that dates back a couple thousand years. It began with bits of marble from construction and built into cement. Now we have modern materials that are really beautiful.
That's absolutely gorgeous, mandala-like up there. Fausto Fernandez and Ann Coe both, but let's start with Fausto Fernandez, well known in the Valley as an artist. You got him to contribute as well, huh?
We did. We had a competition to select these artists 5 years ago, and Fausto, Daniel Mayer, Daniel Martin Diaz, and Ann Coe became the artists to do the Terrazzo projects. Fausto, because of his beautiful layering of paintings and his imagery, got this project, and he worked really beautifully with the design team to create a pattern that's based on tailplane wings.
Indeed, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Ann Coe, again, another very familiar artist to folks here in the Valley, and she did a floor as well?
She did a floor, and it captures all of the whimsy that everybody knows Ann has, and so it's essentially an aerial flyover of the Arizona landscape, which she loves. And so you have these wiggling lines of canals and rivers, and takes off the topographic map graphics that you often see.
A floor as landscape.
Floor is landscape, and the one thing I'd point out is that at the East Economy lot, this is an outdoor station.
Interesting.
So Advance had to come up with an innovative new product to make it a durable product in the outdoors.
And there was an international team as well that did this. Now, was this a ceiling of clouds, something along these lines?
Yep, at the 44th Street station on the ground floor, sort of the main entrance to that site. You have the international team of Mario Marag, Michael Paracahai, working with Paul Deeb. And they had done a good deal of reading about the ancient ocean that used to be here covering Arizona, and they also just were infatuated with the blueness of our sky and the landscape. So they combined those two things into this grid that has this rippling like water in the middle.
We don't have too much time left. These artists, how much control, how much say did they have over what they wanted to do?
Very significant. They began with drawings and then worked directly with the architectural team to tweak them and incorporate them right into the plans as the entire SkyTrain developed.
And the overall cost of all this?
About $5.6 million and change out of a $1.5 billion project.
And again, the money came from?
Percent for Art program. The city has a Percent for Art program, which means a penny out of every buck the city spends on building itself involves artists and coming up with these kinds of enhancements.
And real quickly, the response from the artists, are they happy?
They are delighted, thrilled, and the response from the public has been, goodness gracious, this is wonderful, wonderful work.
Well, congratulations on a success there. Can't wait to get out there and take a look. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me on.
For more information, visit skyharbor.com. Nevada artist Steve Liguori is a man known for his larger-than-life creations. Up next, we visit Liguori's studio, where he shows us how he has mastered both the minute and the monumental. Take a look.
My name is Stephen Liguori, and I'm an artist. I've lived here in Las Vegas for all my life, 51 years. I did 2 monuments, the only 2 monuments for the Centennial of Las Vegas, Nevada. One was to honor Mary Dutton, who was a cart farmer. I used to play in the park that was adjacent to her house when I was a kid. She owned all this property from like right close to Las Vegas Boulevard. She owned Charleston and really close to Maryland Parkway. So a big section of land. And then I did one for Irene Dunn, who was a film actress, and she gave Circle Park to the city of Las Vegas. Back in 1991, a gentleman named Bert Hansen wanted to commission me to do a small high scaler statue to honor the people that built the Hoover Dam. This is the mighty Joe Kine. He was a high scaler at back then it was called the Boulder Dam. Now it's called the Hoover Dam. He's made out of bronze, and this is off a photograph that was taken by somebody who worked for the Bureau of Reclamation back in 1931. These gentlemen actually rappelled down the mountain walls of the Black Canyon, Colorado River, on hemp rope. I said, too bad Mr. Kine's still not alive. You know, I didn't see him around anymore, so I figured he passed, as most of the people that worked on the dam did. And when I talked to Bert about it, he goes, no, he's still alive. I'm giving it to him. And so I went to his house, interviewed him, and I went there and was asking him, what were you thinking? You know, he said, I was taking a break. I go, well, you seem like you're relaxed but ready to grab that rope. You know, what's going through your head? It's like nothing. I was smiling for the camera, you know, they were taking a picture of me. And these gentlemen here had nerves of steel. We actually gave Joe the first one. So this is actually Joe Kine. In 1998, I get a call from Bert Hansen again. And he says, would you like to make a monument, large monument out of it? I'm like, sure. How tall do you want? He goes, oh, at least life size or larger. So here's one of his shoes. This is the original clay from the high scaler monument. The high scaler in Hoover Dam is 22 feet tall, weighs 130,000 pounds. He's double life size. Just the rock alone is 125,000 pounds. The bronze we use in the piece is 5,000 pounds. See the styrofoam on the inside? And I mean, it makes it nice because it's so light. And it's boundary friendly too. I mean, I've gotten 3 hernias from doing this, so the more you can think about stuff and make it easier to make, the better off you are. In my art, I work with, God, a lot of different mediums. Plaster Paris, gold, silver, platinum. This was made, this is a reproduction I made, but I made that in 22 karat gold, and that was for the Royal Family of England. Bronze, stainless steel, steel. I work in leather. Ooh. And what I've been working on is sculpting leather. And this is actually hand-tooled leather that we can make it into just about anything, any image I could sculpt. I had a hernia and I was down for a bit, and so I figured, well, you know, let me play with this, and I started playing with it and just, you know, see how it would come out. And this is pigskin on the back and then calfskin, and it got better and better and better results, and now I can make an image real small and detailed where the limits of the leather are pushed to the maximum right before it tears, you know, so some pieces I still tear. So then I was thinking about it, I was like, you know, I can make leather like I can make metal. And there's a technique called repoussé, and it's actually pushing up the metal and then chasing it back down, but doing it with leather. This is a piece of Vegetan leather. It's got no stain, no color, no dye, nothing on it. And I'm gonna take it and make a eagle out of it. Here I'm doing something that's still sculpture, and you can enjoy it, not just looking at it. You know, you can wear it. So I'm gonna take it and do a funky cut. It's really interesting how well it comes out. And I wanna start doing, I can actually do a completely 3-dimensional piece out of leather. For doing eagle patterns, I like having them different ways, just like this one here has got a different pattern for the background. And you can do it all kinds of ways. So I'm gonna take it and play with it some. And there's no exact science to it. And it's very organic too. I mean, it just takes you right back to the earth. It's rewarding, I like it a lot. It's gonna come out looking like this, but this one here is gonna come out really looking like that when it's finished. For the arts here in Las Vegas, I think it's about the best it's ever been. People are gonna get to know that we actually make things here in Nevada. And we have a society here, we have culture here. We have artists here actually making artwork here that live here, not just casino-based, society. We have fine artists here, a lot of good fine artists here. Our community here is just really kicking now, I mean, after all these years of being here and seeing artists come, and mostly you have to go sell like in LA or New York, and other places in the world. Now there's more art galleries, there's more focus on the arts. So when it's all done with this piece here, it's going to look like this one. Las Vegas, Nevada is just like New York or LA. We're centrally located as far as an international airport. We have people from all over the world coming here, and what a great opportunity to actually take that to fruition.
To learn more, visit steveliguri.com. Take a step into one of the lightscapes of British artist Bruce Munro, a landscape bursting with creativity, imagination, and most importantly, light. Inspired by the beauty of nature, Munro transformed the Franklin Park Conservatory of Columbus, Ohio, into a magical world of childlike wonder.
This is as beautiful as I'd imagined it. If you're not familiar with light, which is the name of the exhibit, as a medium, this is brilliant.
I think this kind of an exhibit can be understood by anybody and everybody.
Art can be very exclusive, and I want it to be inclusive and not too highbrow. I'm interested in connection and trying to connect to people, so I guess that's probably what I'm trying to achieve. I started off in my 20s, I went over to Australia for a very quick holiday visit, or working holiday, when I was 24, and I ended up staying there for 8 years, and it was during that period of time I got involved in light for the first time. So really from the age of 24, all I did was live, breathe, and sleep light. When I was a little kid, I got in trouble for daydreaming. When you're daydreaming, you find ideas collide in your head in a very unusual way. And then the ideas I'll jot them down in my sketchbook, and it will develop from there. I've always liked to do things that possibly at night, when the landscape is quiet, you can do something rather extraordinary, and it sort of pops up and does its thing and then goes back to sleep. With something like Field of Light, that came from a travelling experience. When I was with my wife in the desert, we were in the middle of Australia just before we came back to the UK. And the feeling I got from the actual landscape was so powerful. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but I was so energized in the middle of a desert. And it started me thinking about how fertile a desert is when it rains. And you get this explosion of life in 24 hours. And I wanted to try and create something that mimicked that.
There's beauty to it, but it also just makes me feel like a kid again. I want to go running through this field and explore it. There's one that's kind of shaped like a ladder. I just want to go climb up it. It's just incredibly beautiful.
When an artist comes to a place and installs a work of art in a specific site-specific place, it is unique to that place. So even if you saw Bruce Munro's work somewhere else, it would not be the same as seeing it at Franklin Park.
You will never see it this way, ever again.
This is unique.
Making art is a very self-indulgent activity, and I didn't want it to be self-indulgent. I wanted it to be more of a shared experience and something, maybe a sort of legacy that you can leave your children and your friends. It is a great conduit to connect people.
Simple yet so incredibly beautiful. You see that wonderful swirl of light. It's glorious.
Well, you shouldn't miss it. For one, it's just an incredible showcase of the conservatory at night. Nobody ever comes here at night. So it's just a great time to get to see this conservatory under truly a different light.
To learn more about upcoming exhibits, visit brucemunro.co.uk. For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find feature videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation is made possible by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you.